guys, I'm back with another video and a little speed paint. As you can see by the previous video, I played Hotline Miami for the first time, and I actually had a lot of fun, which I wasn't expecting. And then at the same time, that same night, I was curious about Animal Crossing because there's a bunch of hype going on right now about it, since Horizon New Dawns is coming out, one of those. And I thought, man, okay, let's see what this hype is all about. So I put on a playthrough by Emma. I'll put the name on screen. Like, just a little YouTuber, and her voice was very soothing. And I was like, oh man, I love Animal Crossing. I get it. Like, I get the hype. And I don't know, just something about that night. I had a ton of fun with Hotline Miami, and then I was watching this, like, very soothing Animal Crossing playthrough to fall asleep to. And then it hit me right before I fell asleep. I was like, oh, I know what I want to draw tomorrow. I will draw the murderous rooster Richard. I mean, I know in the game it's a mask, but let's just pretend it's an actual rooster. Richard, and I will do it in the little Animal Crossing style, because murder, and, well, okay, that sounds really bad. But you know what I mean, like, it's a very cute art style, and to have a murderous character in it is kind of like, ha ha ha, sneaky. Another note, I don't usually like showing my sketching progress just because it takes forever to get to a sketch I like. So it would just be like me drawing a sketch, erasing it, me drawing another sketch, erasing it. It'll be boring, there's a lot of undos. But in this one I actually got something cranked out pretty quick. It started out with like his little feet outstretched, and then I edited it so that he's walking. I struggled a lot with the bat. I don't know how to draw bats, man. They have like a slightly weird shape. Same with like bottles. Just something about the shape is a little weird. But regardless, when I first did the sketch for this, I was like, man, I don't know if to like make this cutesy Animal Crossing or like Tim Burton-y Animal Crossing and like super sketchy and like scraggly lines or something. But as I just kept drawing it, I was like, no, this fits better with Animal Crossing. And then near the end, I changed my mind again about how I was going to render everything. So you can see here, you saw the reference of Richard the mask on the right, but you can also see on the left the character whose name I don't know in Animal Crossing because it hasn't shown up in the playthrough that I'm watching. But I just looked up Rooster, and I was like, alright, I got a basic shape. They got a little, their head looks like a badminton thingy, and they just have flaps. So I went with that. There's a few other roosters in the game, but they all looked too, like, wacky in terms of colors, and I wanted Richard to remain a little grounded. Not like a real chicken, because obviously he doesn't have real chicken proportions and look. But I just wanted it to look a little more, I guess grounded is the only term, because it's not even serious. It's Animal Crossing. It's chibi. It can't be serious. But you know what I mean? Like, all these blue and yellow birds, and you're like, man, this game about a rooster murdering people, it should probably look like a real rooster. So at first I think I was just going to do a flat color, and then I was like, no, we're gonna try and shade this full thing. But it came in stages. Like, at first I was like, no, I'll only do cell shading. And then I was like, no, it's fine. I can shade beyond that. And then I was like, no, we're going full on out on this little chicken man. We're not at that stage yet in the speed paint, but yeah, we're getting there. It just came to me. This is one of the few speed paints that I didn't have to edit a ton of, just because, like, usually I will draw something and then I'll exit out to, like, look at Discord, and then I'll exit out again to look at a YouTube video, or I'll exit out again to, like, look at reference. But in this one, I don't know what happened. I was in the zone, so the editing on this one is kind of minimal, because I was just super focused on this chicken most of the time. If only I didn't so much. I'll get used to it as time goes on. You can... All my there has to be something I replace it. You can see here I'm like trying to get like decent shadows in. I'm getting all these little highlights in. One of the things I debated drawing was the like gunk on chicken, the little red bits around the face. In the Animal Crossing art style, they usually just have the like the crown or the crest or whatever you want to call it. Whereas in Hotline Miami, he has like all the grossness around his face. So at first, I wasn't gonna draw any of the grossness, and then I was like, nah, we're fine. He needs it. It'll make him stand out from like the other Animal Crossing characters. Just because nobody else has all that weird blobness on their face. But yeah, and this is nearing the end. So like once I kind of got him shaded, I started coloring in like all the line art inside. I started trying to just put a darker shade of the color that was used. So you can see what I mean here when I overlaid it. So anything on the outside would be colored black, and stuff on the inside would have a slightly different color dependent on whatever it is. So if the crest is red, then anything on the inside would be colored darker red. As I was getting close to finishing this and putting all the finishing touches on it, I didn't know what I wanted this to be. Like, I hadn't thought of rendering him this far out, so I was like, I don't know where I want to put him. I don't know if I want him to have like a little chibi like sky with sparkles on it, or if I want him to look murdery like in Hotline Miami. But end of the day, I made 3 different versions of him, which took a while because I didn't want to. Because it's not something I usually do. I'm just like, here's the drawing. Why would you make 5 different versions of the same drawing? That makes no sense. But I couldn't make up my mind. In this one, look at all that blood. I don't know how to draw blood. So that was a while. But there's like the slightly bloody version. Which, by the way, I was trying to mess with like atmospheric perspective over there. It's like things that are closer to the background will like fade. Just fog and all that shenanigans. But I eventually was like, no atmospheric perspective, because it's not perspective. Atmospheric fog? Atmospheric fog. I'm dumb. Well, there you go. So I made 3 different versions, and I was like, alright, cloud version, we got regular version, we got murder version. You pick. My favorite at the end of the line, at the end of the day, was just the middle regular version where it's like, ha 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 ha. I even made like an automated text box. I was like, hee ha ha, he's threatening you, but he's a cute little rooster. Just a ton of fun to draw. I want to draw more Animal Crossing style stuff. I don't know if I want to make it look more like the in-game models, because the in-game models have much more soft shading, whereas this can pass off as just a chibi of a rooster. But we will see. We will see. I'll post a new video soon. I'm actually making a schedule now, so yeah.